While the structure has already seen a new renovation this year, that's just the beginning. Next year, they're hoping to sandblast and paint the structure so it looks brand new. One of the challenges in fighting this storm is the type of precipitation that we're facing. This icy rain is making these sidewalks so slick, and it makes it difficult for PennDOT to be able to treat the roads. I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to log on to Amazon.com and try and buy a vape pen without proving my age. And all you need is an Amazon account, a valid form of payment, add it to your cart, place your order, and it was just that easy. Good morning, Sarah and Tom. Yes, I told you guys last half hour we would give you an updated measurement. Around the 5 o'clock hour, we were at about an inch. So let's see how much snow we've got so far. So we're over the inch mark now. Not quite at an inch and a half, but pretty close. Leaders say the Bell's new home is still a work in progress. They're hoping within the next few months they can raise enough funds to eventually put a roof over the Bell. Good morning, Mindy and Tom. Yes, some of these people here are up early. They're skipping the traditional Thanksgiving dinner to go where, guys?
New York City!
They're going to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I'm here with my little friend Layla. How are you feeling this morning?
Good.
Good evening, Charlotte. The downtown Scranton and Wilkes-Barre Bike Project is underway in the early stages, gathering information about what is necessary to keep bikers and pedestrians safe in both cities. Those we spoke with said they're excited about the project and that it's a necessary one.
A man is locked up after making threats against 2 Hazleton area schools over the weekend. NEWSWATCH 16's Cassie Semyon joins us live from Hazleton Area High School with the latest. Cassie?
Stacey city officials say they were working around the clock Saturday to make an arrest before school started again on Monday. Police say as soon as they became aware of the threat, it was instantly the top priority. It all started with a text message, what authorities called a manifesto, threatening a shooting and the use of pipe bombs at 2 Hazleton area schools. Jeff Cassatt is the mayor of Hazleton.
I received a text message from a citizen of Hazleton that his daughter had received an alarming text message. He forwarded me a copy of it. I read it, and I immediately contacted the chief.
And within minutes, Hazleton police were on the move, searching the streets and even filing for electronic search warrants that helped police locate the suspect.
We're able to specifically pinpoint where the individual was, and at 9:15, we were able to pinpoint that individual right to 6th Street and Church. At that point, the units converged on the individual.
Police say Christian Deal made threats against 2 Hazleton area schools, with threats to use bombs at the Arthur Street Elementary School as a diversion to carry out a mass shooting at the high school. Deal later said the threat was a joke, one Hazleton police did not take lightly.
I think someone that jokes about hurting children with what we've seen in our nation with mass shootings, that's a poor joke, and I think that's somebody that needs to be evaluated.
Police used phone surveillance and street patrols to search for Deal, who they were able to apprehend shortly after 9 p.m. He's now facing charges for threatening to use a weapon of mass destruction. While community members we spoke with say they are thankful for the quick action of police, they also want to thank that tipster who notified police of the threat.
I was thankful to whoever that concerned citizen is for doing what they did, because if they didn't, it might have happened.
Whoever tipped them off, we owe them a ton of gratitude and thanks for sharing that information, which is always so important, that if you hear something, say something.
But the overall concern, the safety of the students.
There's no quality of life if our homes and our schools and our neighborhoods are left unprotected. That's just the bottom line. And as far as I'm concerned, we're going to make sure that we protect them, and we're going to make sure that we do it the right way.
School will be in session as normal here at Hazleton area tomorrow. Deal is locked up in Luzerne County Prison tonight. Cassie Semyon, NEWSWATCH 16, live in Hazleton.
A Marine who lived to talk about his harrowing exploits in the South Pacific in World War II is sharing his memories. He was there for one of the most iconic American moments of the 20th century. NewsWatch 16's Cassie Semyon sat down with him today. Cassie.
Scott Mendelson Hoxie, better known as Mendy, is originally from the Syracuse, New York area, but has called Jersey Shore home for over 50 years. At 97 years old, he's still as sharp as a tack and remembers February 23, 1945, like it was yesterday.
These 5 men said, let's raise a flag, just to kind of taunt the Japs.
Mendy Hoxie was just 22 years old when he witnessed one of the most iconic moments of the Second World War. It's the Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of Marines raising the flag over Iwo Jima. The flag was raised before the island was captured by American forces to raise the spirits of the troops.
It was a morale builder, I'm sure. And who organized it, I don't know. I think it was just 5 guys got together. Of course, we were all very proud of our flag. And they raised that flag, and that cameraman that became famous because of it, he got the picture.
Hoxie says he was about 200 feet away when those Marines raised the flag on Mount Suribachi and remembers the feeling of standing on that island in that moment.
We heard all these shells go over. You can hear the shells go over. It sounds like a railroad train. And we kept hearing these going over our head.
It was a story he didn't even share with his family until decades later.
But I really didn't know anything about it until I was homeschooling my kids and we were studying that period of history. And so I asked Dad to start telling the kids what he remembered from that time, and that's when I found out that he'd been on Iwo Jima, and he started talking about the raising of the flag, and we were like, what? How come I never knew this?
Despite his service to our country, Hoxie doesn't like to be referred to as a hero.
The people that really did something, went in and dragged out an injured soldier under fire. That's a hero.
But his daughters believe otherwise.
We're all proud of him. You know, he'll tell you he's not a hero, but I feel like anybody that's given up their life to go and serve that way and put themselves in that potential danger comes back a hero.
Hoxie says he doesn't think of his service to our country every day. He's busy spending time reading, spending time with his family, and walking the yard to check on his junipers. But he says he is still proud to be a Marine.
A proud Marine, you know, proud to be in the service like that. And I've always had that feeling in my gut. I'm glad I was a Marine.
Mendy Hoxie lives at home with his wife of 72 years, Pauline, and she says she is so proud of her husband's service to our country. Cassie Semyon, NewsWatch 16.
Fabulous story, Cassie. Thank you.
We begin tonight in Schuylkill County, where Marion Catholic High School has officially forfeited its final 2 games due to a lack of players.
Marion Catholic has a long history as a dominant force in high school football, but now the school says it cannot finish the season. That includes canceling a game scheduled for tonight. NewsWatch 16's Cassie Semyon live in our newsroom with the collapse of the Colts. Cassie.
Scott and Charla, just 4 years ago, Marion Catholic's football team was District 11 champions. But after starting with a small team this season and multiple sidelining injuries, the administration decided it was unsafe for the student athletes to continue the season.
All those are all football, so.
And how many of them were you here for?
Everyone.
For 40 years, Coach Stan DeCoste coached the Marion Catholic Colts football team, leading them to a state championship and multiple conference championships. While he passed the legacy of head coach on 3 years ago, DeCoste is still involved in the program as athletic director. It was a difficult day for everyone here after Marion Catholic announced they would be forfeiting the last 2 games of the season.
These coaches and players worked really hard this year. You know, we started off with, 30, 29 kids, so we done great numbers between injuries and other circumstances. We found ourselves with 16, 17, played the last couple games with 17 or 18, but those guys were out there and working hard, and the coaches were working hard.
Canceling the final games was a last-minute decision, one made Thursday night ahead of the Mahanoy area matchup, after another player was injured.
I left school, we were ready to go. We had our buses ready to go for Friday, everything else, and that just changed the whole dynamics.
It was a shock for students and supporters of the team, but a call DeCoste deemed necessary.
Kids are first, safety's first. You know, we've always done that here, and it's something we never thought we'd have to do, but we did.
While these bleachers will remain empty for the rest of Marian Catholic's football schedule this year, Coach DeCoste says he hopes the Colts football program will be back in full force next year.
I think we have players in our school. We have some good young kids, and hopefully could build off those young kids and get some more guys out for the program type of stuff and get back to being a competitive program again.
While the field is lined and ready for play, it won't see any more action this year. But DeCoste says despite the low numbers, don't rule out the Colts next season.
We're being tested in some ways and you know, get our ducks in a row, roll up our sleeves and work hard to get this thing going again. That's what we'll try to do.
Now, Mahanoy area school officials say tonight was supposed to be senior night for its players, but now Shenandoah Valley has agreed to host Mahanoy's senior night next week instead.